"Just count me out," said Wilford as he lay there in the dirt, a shoe and rasp behind his ear and a hoof print on his shirt. "I'll handle this," said Freddie. "You just get out of the way. This sorry bag of buzzard bait has met his match today." The horse weren't much to look at, just a kind of tradered by, but you knew that he was trouble when you looked him in the eye. It was small and mean and glittered, as deep as Jacob's well, like looking down the smokestack at a furnace room in hell. Freddie grabbed a set of nippers and bent to grab a hoof, and when he woke up, his shoe and chaps was dangling from the roof. His shirt tail hanging tatters as watch had come unwound. The nipper's orbit finally peaked. They clattered to the ground. "Get a twitch," said Freddie. "I'm about to clean his clock." They tied a rope around his neck and fished it past the hawk. Then he pulled back on the sideline to instill a little fear when Pig Eye bit a good-sized chunk from Wilford's offside ear. Wilford tangled in the sideline and tried to navigate, whilst dragging around the horse corral like alligator bait. Freddie tried to stop this trolling with a loop around the head. It might have worked if only Freddie caught the horse instead. But of course he caught poor Wilford, who left a funny track, sort of like an oil slick when Freddie jerks the slack. By now the boys is testy, tired of this travail. They figured they'd be done by noon, but they'd not drove a nail. "Get the boss's Humvee, we'll winch him to a post." They got the bugger neck down tight and set to work almost, because the halter broke and Pig Eye walked the length of Freddie's back. They rolled beneath the axle like two lovers in a sack. Freddie heard the sound of gunfire like 1,000 amplifiers. "I got the sucker pinned down, Fred. I shot out all the tires." Well, it was dark when Wilford stood up and laid his hammer down. A gross of crooked horseshoe nails lay scattered all around. The place looked like a cross between the tomb of General Grant and a puppy chow explosion at the Alpo dog food plant. Wilford couldn't move his elbow, but he grinned and proudly said, "Oh, pard, we've done a good day's work to what was left of Fred." Freddie crawled out from the wreckage and staggered to one knee. He said, "What say we wait till morning to put on them other three?" That was a Baxter Black story. That story there, I'd read it to some people and they didn't think it was funny at all. And I'd just picked up a couple of 5-year-old colts. I'd lived just about everything that was in that poem. Then it dawned on me why those people didn't figure it was funny, because they had money and they could afford to buy a horse that was already broke, you know. But that was my first poem, yeah. I liked it.